If there is no clarity regarding the end and the means, human life becomes waste. What you are really pursuing, seeking in your life, that itself is not clear, that what I am seeking itself is not clear, then the means also will not be clear. And if means and ends are not clear, then what is the purpose in human life? Therefore, this is, Shastra opens up. Veda opens up. Veda means with, to know. A body of knowledge is called Veda. A knowledge of means and end given by the Veda. Therefore, it's Veda. If one doesn't have a exposure to the Vedic teaching, one may say, I have several goals and for that I know all the means and all that. But really he doesn't know. Yeah. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. Avyavasayatmika buddhayaha avyavasayinam. Vyavasayatmika, nishchayatmika. This is the goal. And these are the means. If end is clear, means are clear. If end is not clear, means will not be clear. Right? This is how it is. And therefore, people are literally struggling in life. That's what we discussed the first day. I'm trying to connect you every day. Omkara has connection with the goal of life. Yes, it has. That's what we are going to see. Anyway, and therefore, regarding Omkara, I was talking about the three meanings and all. Linguistic meaning, avati rakshati iti om. Phonetic meaning, the very sound. Om is a word, monosyllabic word. It's a name of Lord. It's a name of Lord which because all the forms are ultimately connected to the names. All the names basically are the names of Lord because all forms are His forms. He is the material cause. Therefore, all names also His names. Then I cannot call all the names. I should have one name which cover all the names. Well, that is the whole that I explained you, and we are going to see in detail also a little bit. And that's so phonetic meaning of Om is Lord. Phonetic meaning. Or we can say the name of the Lord. Om is a name of the Lord. Then the third, Vedic meaning, also I told you. Vedic means, well, Mandukya Upanishad opens up with this. All that is here within time is Om. All that is there which is beyond time is also Om. What was there in the past is Om. What is there right now is Om. What will be there in future is Om. So whatever is there within the threefold periods of time is Om. And whatever is beyond time also is Om. That's the first statement. Anyway, so that is how the Vedic meaning. And so these three meanings are there. Vedic meaning we are going to see in the whole, that's a Mandukya Upanishad. The meaning of the word Om is self. Self with attributes, mithya attributes, incidental attributes. The self without attributes. Om is Brahman with names and forms, attributes. Om is Brahman without attributes. Om is all that is there, names and forms within fold of time, three periods of time, that is Brahman. Om that is there which is timeless, beyond time, that's also Brahman. That's how it is said. And therefore, that is the whole, it's an amazing thing. Why should you but introduce Om? Tell Atma is Brahman. Why you introduce Om? Because I am Brahman, if it is not understood, there is something, some method is there with you to the human beings, which you can employ. If I cannot lift the stone, I told you yesterday, well, there is a lever, take help of lever to lift. So Omkara is introduced in Mandukya. So many Upanishads it has been introduced. We will be seeing Pashakara quotes a number of places. Om is versatile. Anyway, some people say that the manifestation of Jagat Om came first, and therefore it is called Nada Brahma. You must have heard of, perhaps. So Nada refers to actually space that came first from Brahman. Tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. So therefore, because, and sound, Nada means a sound. So sound is a unique attribute of the space. Nada is generally used in the sense of a musical notes. So Nada Brahma is also nothing but the Parameshwara in the form of a sound, in the form of space, which has a quality of sound. So all sound manifestation possibilities, including all these 7 musical notes and everything, is nothing but a Parameshwara. Anyway, so that is, this is also, there is a, that is how Panini saw that from the Damaru of Lord Shiva, all these sutras came. And all sutras are nothing but basically explaining this language, which is nothing but all words, which is nothing but all sounds. I own, Rulruk, Aong, I ouch, Hayavarat, Lud. 14 sutras. Panini heard from the Damaru of Lord, which came out. Means all the sounds ultimately came out from him. That's why especially music people who are in the, music lovers and all, they always have music and dance both together. They will always have a Nataraja. You will always see a Murti of Nataraja, a dancing Lord Shiva. With his Damaru, all the sounds, all musical notes came out. Anyway. So, well, but we also use this, that before starting the creation of the Lord, it is said, Lord uttered these 2 words, Om Atha. Right? So, Omkaraschada Shabdasya, Omkaraschada Shabdasya, Dvavayutau Brahmanah Pura, Kantham Bitva Viniryatau Tasman Mangalikau Ubhau. Om Atha, Om Atha, Om Atha. Bhagavan said, and then created. So word Om and Atha are associated with the Ishvara while narrating the Srishti. Chanting Om, he saw the entire Jagat, because Om contains whole Jagat. Now I have not to say that. Om contains all names, forms, everything. Entire Jagat. And therefore, anyone who wants to create anything, he has to bring that thing first in the mind. That's how Upanishad says, Tadaikshata bahusyam prajaya. So kamayata bahusyam prajaya. So word Om and Atha are associated with the Ishvara while narrating Srishti, and chanting Om, he saw the entire Jagat. Because Om contains the whole Jagat, he visualized the whole Jagat in the form of Om. Because Om is whole Jagat. Omiti etad idagam sarvam. All forms associated with names. Anyway, so it is not that before he started creating the world, he had some kind of a Om with him. So, Om is basically stands for omniscient. Om means what? Name, form, word, meaning. Right? Form means what? Meaning. Word is what? Pot. What is the meaning? Object pot. That is knowledge. Therefore, all names and forms is Om. That is what he visualizes. Om means he visualizes the entire, not visualize, but he means he identifies with his knowledge. And then his knowledge alone manifested in the form of this Jagat. Knowledge manifests, there is no, sir, when you create dream, what is the material which you bring from outside other than your knowledge? What is dream space is your knowledge. What is dream time is your knowledge. Huh? Just word and you see the thing. Space. Badrinath. That's what it is. Your knowledge which was there in the form of vasanas, unmanifest names and forms, that alone manifest in the form of Jagat. No material comes from outside. So that is how Bhagavan is called omniscient. And his knowledge means what? A cell in this world. My God, still research is going on. What is cell? Books and books and books and books. PhDs and PhDs and PhDs and PhDs. Atoms, molecules, subatomic particles, genes, this, that, body, anything is full of knowledge. So many disciplines and disciplines, newer and newer disciplines are getting opened up. That shows world is full of knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of must be a conscious being. Knowledge can never be away from the conscious being. No knowledge is away from the conscious being because very knowledge we call as a qualified consciousness. And therefore consciousness is non-separate from that. So consciousness along with this all knowledge is called Ishvara, Sarvagnya. Yes, Sarvagnya, Sarvavit, Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. Mundaka Upanishad. Yes, Sarvagnya, Sarvavit, whose knowledge alone manifests like you are Ishvara for the entire dream world. You are Ishvara. You see, exactly like there. Not this, but like this. Dream time, dream space, dream objects, dream sentient beings, insentient things, all. Even all Nastikas and Astikas, everyone. One who says there is no Ishvara is also pervaded by you, Ishvara, in dream. And then there are certain agnostics. Well, I'm open to this thing. What? Ishvara is there or not, for that I am open. I have not yet come to the conclusion that agnostic, his words, his thinking is all pervaded by you, the Ishvara. You are the maker, material of the entire dream world, including all Nastikas. I don't see, he says, one says, I don't see Ishvara here anywhere. In a dream. His words are pervaded by you, Ishvara. Ishvara is not a matter of belief, it's a matter of understanding. All that is here is Ishvara. That is an equation. Energy is a matter, is not to be believed. It is to be understood. Both the sides is to be understood. Hey, that's how Veda laughs. When somebody says, I believe in Ishvara, Veda laughs. If somebody says energy in the equation between energy and matter, E is equal to mc square, I believe, because some physicist says. It's a laughable thing. Energy is a matter means you understand. What is matter? What is energy? And see the equality. That's it. It's a matter of analyzing and understanding, recognizing. All that is here is Ishvara. You must have heard this Puja Swamiji's statement. All that is here is Ishvara. You may say, I don't know that. All that is here means Jagat is equal to Ishvara. Equation. Equation is not to be believed. Anyway. So my point is, Om stands for omniscience. And so when it is said that Lord uttered Om, it means he identified with his knowledge. Before creation he uttered Om. Means he identified with his knowledge. Why? Because he has to create. An architect has to identify with his knowledge when he makes a plan. When he creates a plan, before that, otherwise he is simply, he is a father and he is a husband and he is talking. And at that time he has not to identify with his architectural knowledge. But when he has to create, he has to identify. Exactly like this. Anyway, and therefore, and then he said, Atha, now. So, because he was going to create, so he says now. When you start something, sometimes you say what? Okay. Means now I'm going to start. So this Atha is a okay of the Ishvara. And then the creation took place. Very beautiful. You and me are talking about Ishvara. You and me are talking about the freedom. All that is there because creation is there. All that is there because Veda is there. All that is there because knowledge is there. All is a part of creation. Mangalam. If creation is a Mangalam, if body is not there, where is the question of classes? Where is the question of teaching? Where is the question of word? Oh, Brahman is there, Swamiji, but no one is there to know, etc. Well, then what is the use? Anyway, so all jivas are there, and they analyze the matter and all that through the teaching and everything. It's part of creation. And therefore, so the creation took place, and these two words that came first from Ishvara's mouth, therefore consider auspicious sounds. Omkarashchatha shabdasya. I made a mistake before. Omkarashchatha shabdasya. Omkaraha cha atha shabdasya. Dvau etau brahmanaha pura. Kantham bitva vindriyatau. Just take him out. Tasmat mangalikau ubhau. Both of them are auspicious. Om atha. So one always utters these auspicious sounds before starting anything. And that is why Om is added first before any sacred chant. Start with that. Because by chanting you want some mangalam in your life, well-being. Well, add Omkara before that. So when one says Om is everything, well, it means ultimately Brahman is everything, which we are going to see. One should not just get carried away by the sound itself. You should know what Omkara means. After this camp, you should be thorough with what Omkara is. Otherwise, if suppose somebody who has nothing to do with this, like suppose some American person who has really not this kind of a culture, etc., he says Om, 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 Om. Swamiji, there will be some mangalam in his life. No. You should... No, somebody may have this, and our dogs also may, Om, etc., that also, some mangalam for the dogs. No, nothing will happen. We should know it's a very close name, closest name for the Lord. How? That's what we discuss, and we are going to discuss. Then you utter Om. That makes sense. If you know the meaning of Om and take help of Om, you do chanting. That makes sense. A meaningless sound for the person who doesn't know the meaning doesn't add anything, really speaking. Therefore, just sounds, we don't get carried away with the sounds. There is something. They are also superimposed. There is something in that. There is something. No, Veda has connected these two. And when Veda has connected, definitely Veda gives certain reasoning. And those reasoning also will be given here in Mandukya Upanishad between 8 to 12 mantras. Why we are giving you Om? Why we say everything is Brahman and everything is Om? Why Omkara reveals Brahman, etc., etc. Why the name Omkara is given for Brahman, etc. That we will see. So this is how it is. Now I would like to give you a gist of things, gist of Mandukya as such, before we go into each individual mantra. As a sound symbol, look at the versatility of this. As a sound symbol which you utter, Om covers all the forms that are here, right? And I told you names are connected. Ultimately there are names only, but let's keep like this, that it covers all names and forms. So as a sound symbol, Om covers all the forms that are here. And there is a small difference between a word and a symbol. A word is not just a symbol, it reveals something. Word reveals something, like pot, word reveals something. So basically a word is not a symbol, it reveals something. And here the word we are going, the Shastra uses a shabda called, the word is translated in Shastra here is abhidhanam. And the meaning of the word, the object, is called abhidheya. Like pot, word, is called abhidhanam. and its meaning, that object, is abhideya. Okay? Abhidhana, abhideya. So Omkara also is a word, and the meaning, Brahman, etc., is abhideya. Now, the thing is, between abhidhana and abhideya, word and the meaning, name and that form, well, there is a relationship of oneness. If one knows the meaning of a word, one cannot think of a word without object. If you know the meaning of the word pot, then you cannot think of a word pot without its meaning. As you utter a word pot, meaning will appear, if you know the meaning. Right? So that it is oneness. So as one repeats the word pot, one recognizes meaning. And without object, the meaning, that word doesn't exist at all. Without the meaning, word doesn't exist. Any language, any word has a meaning. Meaningless words exist, Swamiji, in a particular so-and-so language. It is not. You may coin some word. That you may do. In a language, all the words are all connected with the meaning. No meaningless word. And therefore, without the object, the word doesn't exist. As you utter the word, any word, meaning appears. So there is a oneness between a word and a meaning. Name and form. Right? Word and a meaning, word and object, name and form, etc. Now, this is regarding word. Omkar as a word also we have to understand. Omkar as a symbol also, sound symbol. Symbol, on the other hand, basically is that upon which one can superimpose something. I will tell you one thing here. Like word Rama, immediately in your mind meaning, Ishvara, right, has come. Krishna, word, immediately meaning has come. So this is word. And like that Shiva, well, so Ishvara, that much you know, with a certain form, etc. Even that may come little later, but Shiva means Ishvara. That is how we have connection. Anyway, now this is a word and meaning. But the Shiva will be in the form of a Shivalinga. That is a symbol. Vishnu, Swamiji, that is Ishvara, Lord. Vishnu in the form of Shaligrama. That's a symbol. Ganapati, Ishvara. We know all this, everything. But in the form of that turmeric lump, where they invoke, Asmin Haridra Bimbe Mahaganapatim Dhyayami Avahayami, before puja. In a puja, people, here I don't know people do puja or not, but the people who are doing the puja, they know this. So Asmin Haridra Bimbe Aham Mahaganapatim Dhyayami. It's a Haridra Bimba only, right? Haridra Bimba means a lump of turmeric. You must have seen they take turmeric powder, they add little water, and they just make a lump. And then he starts puja and of Ganapati on that. Means what? On that symbol, we call here as a pratika, please remember that. On that pratika symbol, you are superimposing something higher. And then you do puja, you may do worship, you may do meditation. Then, sometime, instead of a pratika, you will have an idol, right? Vishnu idol. That's also pratika. So that on idol also, you do the same thing. And you can do even upasana also. So this is called pratima. Pratika, pratima. Both are symbols. Why symbol? Why symbol? Because it is made up of that pratima is also made up of a marble. It's just a marble. No, it's not marble. Swamiji, don't say that. It is Lord. So you are superimposing something higher for your own purpose. Two types of superimpositions are there. One type of superimpositions uplifts you. Other type of superimpositions make you fall on samsara. Yeah. That superimposition has to go. For that, this is knowledge. I am a jiva. Oh my God, you are not jiva, sir. You are not waker. You are not dreamer. This. Then what? I am Brahman. Oh, then what about this jiva? Oh, that is superimposed due to ignorance. So, get rid of this superimposition. It is born of ignorance, self-ignorance. You are Brahman. So that superimposition by which you, instead of taking yourself as a free self, you take yourself as a jiva, bound, subject to birth, death, subject to karmas, subject to all kinds of attack from the world, subject to fear and all, right? And then suffer. So two types of superimposition. One uplifts you. Here you do deliberate superimposition. You know very well it is Haridra. You know very well it is whatever. I mean, it's a stone. You know. It's not that you don't know. You know, but no. You superimpose. Because you want to relate to Ishvara. You cannot relate to any formless thing. You think you have a form. If you want to relate to Ishvara, I should relate it with a certain form. How can you relate it to a formless thing? And therefore, you superimpose for your benefit. More you worship, more you do dhyanam, etc., more and more closeness with the Ishvara you feel. Yeah. This is how it is. The closer the person to you, your mind automatically thinks of him, her, whatever. Automatically. When you are busy, you may do here and there. As you become free from that, it comes. It only stays. Yeah. Very close. Then why? But then if a person is closer, why should I have a closeness to Ishvara? Hey, Ishvara is a goal of your life. If Ishvara is a goal of life, your life should be such in which you feel more presence of whom? Ishvara. Ishvara is not going, you are not going to stumble upon one day to Ishvara. It's not going to happen that way. No. If Ishvara is a goal of life, Ishvara is no more a goal. What do you want to say? Security is a goal of life? Yeah. Ishvara is security. No, I don't believe Ishvara is security. Okay, if Ishvara is not secure, then Ishvara must be insecure. Then why it is no more Ishvara? Yeah. Ishvara is all joy. No, I will not accept it. Then Ishvara must be unhappy being. Then he is no more Ishvara. So the other name of a security, joy and peace, freedom from this anxiety and everything, that is the name of Lord. That's called Brahman. And therefore, if whatever the goal is there, your life should also have, in accordance with that goal which you want to achieve. That's called religious life. That's how the worship and all these things, even Karma Yoga also we are relating to. Karma doing, if you do service in the society, don't think it is Karma Yoga. No, I am helping others, therefore it's Karma Yoga. No, it's a good karma, definitely. Produces punyam also, yes. And that punyam will help you in a spiritual benefit, that is also true. But Karma Yoga means you connect. Yuj dhatu means to connect. Through karma, you connect to Ishvara. Through karma phala, which you receive, you connect to Ishvara. Everywhere, whole your activity, etc., the center is Ishvara. That's called religious life. That's called Yoga Shastra, which we are talking about. That helps you. You feel more and more closeness in your life. You see more and more Ishvara in your life. That's how Puja Swami used to always say Ishvara in one's life. That will ultimately prepare you your ragadvesha, ahankara, etc. will automatically start falling. You gain more and more freedom. You become relatively happy and all that we saw. Anyway, so my point is, so both the things are there. Here Omkara, well, this Brahman, which is one without the second, which is in the form of Jagat. When I say in the form of Jagat, remaining non-dual, remaining one without the second, he is in the form of this duality, means duality is mithya, Jagat is mithya. Okay, already. I don't want to say that mithya again and again. But, so Swamiji, you say Brahman with names and forms and Brahman without names and forms. That cannot be possible. That's true. It's not possible. If Brahman is one without second, you should not say Brahman with all names and forms, all duality. Therefore, Brahman with all names and forms means incidental. Clay remaining clay, non-dual clay, can appear in many forms. All forms. Even though one form is different from the other and the purpose of one form is different from the purpose of other form, everything still, it's all incidental. It's all time being. It's time being. It's ultimately it's clay. Has begun from clay, ends in clay. Right now also it is clay. Adavante cha yannasti vartamanepi tattatha. Mandukarika said, Adavante cha yannasti. The pot was not there before its creation. Pot will not be there after it breaks up. Then in between also there is no pot. In reality, there is simply appearance of the clay. That appearance is not independently existing. That's what we call mithya. So, and for that we have some name also because it serves a certain purpose. Therefore we should have, because every human being is going to use that form, right? And for drinking water, filling of water, this, that. So we should have some common name. Otherwise I should say, please bring that. What is that, Swami? No, that clay. So you will bring clay. Yeah, I don't want clay. I want to fill up water. So bring that. Give name, pot. That's it. This is how the things are. The whole creation, names and forms, which is also Omkara. So these names and forms definitely has what? Its basis. Anything which you experience in this world is a mixture of variable and invariable. Everything is a mixture of Satyam Mithya. You are seeing me right now. Is a mixture. The people who are well versed with Vedanta, they pick up invariable. Understanding variable is a mithya. Satya Mithya Viveka. Nothing else. You don't need any new experience. Right now you can recognize Brahman. But if you don't recognize, the name and form is basically overwhelming you. Name and form is overwhelming, is called ragadvesha. Therefore they say, get rid of. At least they should not have. You have a ragadvesha, likes, dislikes, desires for forms, names. No one has a ragadvesha for Brahman. No one has a ragadvesha. That's how they say you will not be. Because you will not be able to understand what is invariably there, which sustains variable. Variable cannot exist independent of invariable. Invariable is independent. Variable, being variable, it goes. It is there. Something new comes. Invariable is always there. Either you see a snake, either you see a garland, either you see a crack on the earth. Rope is always there. But if you see a snake, in your vision there is no rope. Enlightened person has a vision of rope while seeing a snake. Sometimes a rope appears like that even you know now that it is a rope, you enjoy. Hey, this really looks like a snake. Then you enjoy. If you don't appreciate rope, then the same thing becomes a source of fear. If you know the rope, the same thing becomes a source of joy. That's how it is. Samsara goes away. So it's invariable. Don't think all these things will go away. Once seeing a pot and appreciating the basis, the truth. Seeing a pot, you need not break the pot. It is all cognitive. All the time cognitive. That's how we said pratibodha viditam matam. Pratibodha viditam matam. In every bodha, we'll be seeing that. In every thought, he recognizes an invariable factor. And that is Atma, the consciousness. Anyway, I'm saying too much, but I want that you carry this vision. Otherwise, you will be always waiting for some kind of an experience of Brahman. Every experience is Brahman. Every experience is Brahman. If experience is not Brahman, you will need a special experience. Then we should not talk about our ordinary experience, which Mandukya talks about. A special experience you need then means in that experience there will be a special object. And what is that special object? Brahman. Over. Brahman is an object. It's a special object. Over. One of the object in the world. Over is no more a Brahman. One of the object, maybe bigger than other things. When you talk about experience, then there will be object of experience. And you say special experience, then special object. These are all ordinary objects. Brahman is an extraordinary thing, Swamiji. And if that kind of experience happens, like other experience, that experience also will go away. When experience goes away, the object of experience also go away. Means Brahman also goes away. Then where is this timelessness and all that? Where is that? And all-pervading, where all-pervading thing can go? Where space can go? Anywhere you go, you remain in space. Space cannot go anywhere. Therefore, all pervasive. We should understand. This is so reasoning. Vedanta provides us so much of reasoning. The spiritual, when person begins in the spiritual life, there is certain fantasy, romanticism is there. Some special experiences, going to a special place, having a special experience and all that. Nothing is there. Ordinary experiences only are analyzed, which we don't analyze. How do you know? Every moment I am experiencing world. Every moment I am also there as an experiencer. I am different, world is different. This is what my conclusion is. Means you don't know. That's it. You don't know. What is there in a seeing, hearing, everything is just one whole. The seer, never away from consciousness. The object of sight, not away from consciousness. Very seeing, the cognition is not away from consciousness. Therefore, it's first just whole. All the three are superimposed upon that. So you recognize this invariable factor in every experience. That's what Kenopanishad said, pratibodha viditam. Pratibodham. In every cognition, this wise person recognizes what is invariable, what is non-negatable, what is non-changing, and without which even the thought, etc., cannot exist. Thought, etc., cannot be limit. That consciousness is limitless. I am that consciousness which is limitless. That's it. Nothing is away from that. So this is how we should understand. So point is, so there is a pratika and pratima. Omkara also, when you utter Om, Brahman is recognized. When you utter Om, Brahman is recognized. So when it is said Om is everything, what is meant is Brahman is everything. And so Om becomes an object of contemplation. Swamiji, we don't know Om is, by chanting Om I cannot recognize Brahman. That's what we are going to discuss in Mandukya, okay? So Om means how the Omkara, the word Omkara, has a meaning, Brahman, etc. So basically it stands for, but the first two mantras itself that is going to equate it. All that is there here is Om. Within time, without time, beyond time. Second mantra says all that is here is Brahman. Means Omkara is equated with Brahman. So we'll see that. But as such, everything is Brahman, that we have already, that's how I covered also. And now we'll be connecting with the Omkara. So, but how does this Omkara, that word covers Brahman? Well, Mandukya Upanishad first tells this, that all that is here is Om. What was before, what is now, and what will be later is Om. And in the very next mantra, Upanishad says all that is here is Brahman, etc. Anyway, so Brahman is Sarvam, and Om also is Sarvam. That means Om is Brahman. And that analysis of word Omkara is done in the Mandukya. And once you know that Om is Brahman, and that is Atma, matlab. If Om is Brahman, and Brahman is Atma, I am Atma, Brahman. But Swami, that is true, but I don't understand the Atma is Brahman. Okay, come back to Omkara now, because already equated. Om is Brahman, that is Atma, or means Om is Atma. Come back to Om. Now use this Om as a sound symbol. It is with you. Om you can chant, right? And so, the Upanishad basically, then you can use this Omkara as a symbol, sound symbol, and you can recognize Brahman. So then the Upanishad declares this self-evident Atma is Brahman. I'm going to just give you a gist, we'll be seeing it. And then definitely, I am Atma Brahma, it has been said. This self-evident Atma, I told you yesterday, explained you also, self-evident Atma is Brahman, and therefore Om becomes a symbol for Atma also. All that is here is Brahman. All that is here is Om. Om is Brahman. But I am Atma Brahma. Therefore, Atma is Brahman. Therefore, Om is this Atma, or Atma is Om, etc. Well, so, and that Atma has, or the Brahman has 4 quarters. You visualize Brahman, which is whole, cannot have quarters, but you visualize. Because you have a 3-fold experiences, right? Waking, dream, etc. All that is obtained in any state is just Omkara. And all that is obtained in any state is Brahman. But you experience it in a states. Therefore, well, that Brahman is viewed, or Atma is viewed as a 4 quarters. So, Soyam Atma Chatushpat, mantra says, in the second mantra itself. And and then Upanishad loads what happens is from 3 to 7, and then 8 to 12. First, in between 3 to 7, this 4 quarters of Atma has been narrated. And then from verse 8 to 12, well, matras have been taken of the Omkara, and that is equated with the padas, the quarters, etc. So anyway, so Upanishad loads these first 3 letters, Akara, Ukara, Makara, on the 4th, superimposing a lot of meaning on each of the sounds, Akara, Ukara, Makara, and as well as the silence also that follows Makara. Anyway, and so matras, the letters, and the padas, quarters of the Atma or Brahman, are equated. So quarters for the Atma are basically the matras of this Omkara. So in order for the Om to be a complete Atma, we are connecting inside by uttering Om. Akara connected to the one state, 1 quarter of the Atma, Brahman, waking state. All that is there is Brahman, Atma. Therefore now what obtains right now a waking state? Well, that is also Brahman. So Akara is connected to this waking state. What obtains in waking state? Ukara is connected to the dream state, etc., etc. So it's a purely superimposition. Please understand. How can Swamiji, Akara is just a sound and time bound so much. You said it is whole waking state. Superimposed. When you superimpose Swamiji, there should be some similarity. Yes. That is shown there in 9 to 12 mantras in Mandukya. That between Akara and this waking state, what is some similarity? So that you are superimposing entire waking state on Akara. There is some similarity there. Anyway. Later, Akara stands for waker, the waking world, which obtains in the waking state. And Atma, of course, the waker, Atma, waking world, Atma. So, same Atma identifying with the waker's body, the gross body, is called waker. And he has an experience of the waking world. That's also Atma. And same Atma identified with the entire gross world, right? Atma alone is Adhisthana, Brahman. And therefore, same Atma and identified with the entire gross world is called Virat, which Bhagavan showed in the 11th chapter, Vishwarupa. All that is therein is indicated as 1/4 of Atma. Because this is a state of experience for you. Anyway, so, and why Akara has been narrated like this? Because from Akara, all the sounds are born later, we know now. As you open the mouth, Akara comes out. Then other sounds come later. Same way from the waker, right? He has an experiences of the waking world, and those are stored in Vasana. From there only the dream comes. Say, the way Akara, right, comes from Akara, the other sounds which represent Ukara, we have discussed yesterday. Makara means closing the mouth. Akara means opening the mouth. In between Ukara stands for all letters come, which is represented by Ukara. Same way from the waker and experiences of the waking world, he has stored certain impressions of the waking world. Those storage alone, those vasanas alone manifest in the form of dreamer and the dream world. Just as Akara, from Akara, Ukara comes, right? Same way from the waker, dreamer comes. Therefore on Akara, superimpose Vishwa, the waker, the waking world, and even Virat. Because Atma, the Brahman alone is the Adhishthanam for everything. And therefore, as I told you, it's always a mixture. Right? And therefore, what is superimposed will always have Adhishthanam, that is Atma. And therefore, the waker means the same Atma identified with the gross body, same Atma identified with the entire gross world is Virat. All that is obtains in a waking state. That's just 1/4 of Atma. Could you follow that? So why Akara on that you are superimposing them? Because from Akara alone all the sounds come, which are represented by Ukara. Same way from the waker alone, the dreamer and the dream world appears from his impressions of the waking world. Okay. So this is how, and then the waker alone ultimately goes to the deep sleep state, which is Makara, represented by Makara, etc. So at the individual, the waker and his world is called Vishwa, and corresponding to Virat at the total level, cosmic level, manifests as the entire physical universe. Then dreamer and the dream world, the self identified with the total world, subtle world. And the dream experiences are superimposed on later O. And the experience in dream also is purely a thought world. So dream stands for the subtle world because it's very subtle. It's not really a gross kind of a thing. So the dreamer and the dream world, well, at the individual level, and at the total level, in the subtle world. Gross comes from subtle. So the said subtle world along with that Atma identified with that entire subtle world, cosmic universe is called Hiranyagarbha. That's called Hiranyagarbha. And this is here, well, identified with the dream world, subtle world here, thought world is called basically Taijasa. So this is how dream body, you identify with the dream body, etc. We'll be discussing that. Anyway, so this is how. This is another Ukara, on that you superimpose that. And then later Makara represents, well, the sleeper, the causal world, the self-identified with the total causal world and sleep experience. And causal world which is unmanifest. So Jagat, which is in an unmanifest condition, is the causal world. So this sleep with basically which is experience of unqualified ignorance is called prajna, unqualified. Right now your ignorance is qualified. You know, you are ignorant of this language, you are ignorant of this, you are ignorant of that, etc. It is a qualified. In a deep sleep state, unqualified ignorance. So therefore, the sleeper with his experience of unqualified ignorance is called prajna. at individual level. At total level, corresponding to prajna, at a total level will be what? Ishvara. Identified with what? Unmanifest. Unmanifest alone manifest. Manifest becomes unmanifest. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Avyaktad vyaktayas sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratragame praliyante tatraiva avyakta sanyake. Everything comes from, whatever is manifest has come from unmanifest. A tree has come from what? Seed. That's unmanifest. The tree alone is in the unmanifest state. The bird comes out from an egg. In egg it is unmanifest. How can you call something unmanifest? If you break the egg, you don't find anything. No limbs of bird. Any part of the body you will see there. But it comes from there only, right? Therefore, this is unmanifest, which is not available for your perception. Yeah, you may infer that is there because it comes out from the bird comes out from that. Same way, even from human egg also, the child comes out in the form of egg, human egg. Maybe a male seed or a female seed. This body is not seen at all, but it comes from there. That's unmanifest state, causal state. That's called causal state. Causal state, unmanifest state, same thing. Maya, same thing. Yeah. So Brahman identified with the Maya, Brahman identified with the causal, Atma identified with the causal state, Atma identified with the unmanifest, well, is called Ishvara, total. Here Atma, well, basically identified with ignorance, Karana Sharira, is called Prajna. And what he experienced? Blankness. Just unqualified ignorance. Everyone has experienced that. But Swamiji, everything comes for ultimately that only, unmanifest, yes. But here I feel only blank, just darkness. That's how. It is like that. Yeah. When you have some occasion in your home, and and certain things are there in your home, people used to gather a lot of things and they used to keep it. Someday it will be of use, like that they keep. And now it looks very shabby when people come and all that. All the things are lying. So what you do? You just cover with one dark cloth so that nobody would see. Or suppose right now the light is there. All are seen here. Suppose suddenly light goes away. All are covered. You all are there. Just covered under one blanket of darkness. That's the state. So don't think all get destroyed. Swamiji, all this body and everything, world we don't experience, therefore they are destroyed. They are there, but become unmanifest. If you don't see a tree in a seed, means, Swamiji, in seed I don't see a tree, and therefore I don't think the tree will come out from this. It comes out from that only. What you see is just a white matter. I have seen the mango seed and opened it. And I did not find other than some white material. That's it. But all the branches and everything, the trunk and the leaves and everything comes from that only. Could you follow? So unmanifest, manifest. Causal state, cause, effect. Cause, effect. 3 states are over. Waking state and dream state, they are effect. Comes from unmanifest. Causal state, deep sleep state. So individual level and total level. Akara, ukara, makara. When makara closes, right? And from that makara only comes again Om, etc. Anyway, we'll see that. So this is how the connection is there between Omkara and this. Once you know that Omkara is all that is here, then take now Omkara as a symbol, sound symbol, chant, and load that. Akara, ukara, makara with these 3 words, etc. Which is not just 3 words. There is a basis for that, adhisthana for this, that is Atma. Therefore, Vakar and Vishwa, Vakar, Vishwa and Virat. Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha. And then Prajna and Ishvara. So this is how it is there. That's how Ishvara is the cause of creation. Brahman along with his Maya alone manifest in the form of this Jagat. So anyway, so basically the Upanishad uses, of course, some logic, as I told you. Upanishad is going to give some more logic also for superimposing the waker and the waking world on Akara. Same way superimposing a dreamer and the dream world, etc. on Ukara. Superimposing a unmanifest world and even in this sleeper also on Makara, etc. It gives some logic between mantra number 9 to 12. It also gives it also gives a logic for superimposing this Atma, the Turiya they call fourth, on silence between the two chants of Omkara. That silence reveals Turiya. That we have to see. So it emerges ultimately. Why? So Makara is, you said, causal. Because from cause only the effect emerges. And therefore, Om. So O basically, Akara, Ukara, the gross and subtle, which the waker and the dreamer both resolve into deep sleeper. From deep sleeper again comes out waker, dreamer. Again goes to deep sleeper. Again, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Could you follow? Akara, Ukara, Makara. Amazing. So therefore, and Makara resolves into Turiya. Therefore, you are not a waker, dreamer, or a deep sleeper. You are the very basis of all the three. All the three are superimposed upon you, the Atma, which is Brahman, etc. That's how it is going to give. And that is indicated by that silence. Akara, Ukara, Makara indicate Vishwa Taijasa Prajna, or at a total level, Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara, cause. And when the silence comes, well, between the two chants of Omkara, even Makara stops, that's a silence, yeah. Om, that O resolves into Makara, that's fine. But then Makara also goes away. And that is silence. So between two successive chants, the silence. More and more this practicing, then the chants become subordinate. The silence and the appreciation of something in the silence, which is a reality of you, well, becomes clearer. From silence only the sounds come. It resolves, all sounds resolve into silence. They emerge from silence. They resolve into silence. In between also it is silence. Only thing, sounds are superimposed upon silence. And that's how any varna, any sound you analyze, made fragment and go into that, you find it is resolving into what? Silence. Like you say, ah. Analyze now, what is the basis of ah? What is the truth of ah? So then ah is, you fragment. Ah will be fragmented into some two portions. Each will have a, ah means two, let's say. Right? 2 seconds it takes, 2 matras. Then you make fragment. You will get naturally. Then you go further. The sound is going away. The silence is the very basis of the sound. Anything where thing resolve, definitely that must be a superimposition. Yeah. Like a pot resolves where? In clay. Therefore, pot is a superimposition on clay. Pot comes from the clay. If it resolves in a clay, right, then therefore in between also it is clay only. Pot is just a superimposition, a form particularly superimposed upon the clay. It's not, pot is not a reality. It's just a superimposition. Same thing. The waker, dreamer and deep sleeper, they emerge from this silence. That's Atma. And they resolve. That you appreciate it as a fourth basis. Why called fourth? Why fourth? Because that's the basis. These other three are superimposition. Therefore, I have to show you distinctly. I have to tell it distinctly. Once you know that that is a basis, this becomes superimposition. Otherwise, everyone take oneself to be a waker. Right? You take yourself to be a waker, individual. That's where all issues are. That's it's an incidental thing. But anyway, that's how taking Omkara now. Same thing, Ayam Atma Brahma, you have heard. but you are not able to assimilate I am, how am I am Brahman, how I am limitless consciousness. Resort to Omkara and load them, Akara, Ukara, Makara, load them with this, which are your own experiences. Vishwa, Tejas, Awaker, Dreamer, etc., waking world, etc., everything is your experience. Load them. But why should I load this waking world and waker, etc., on Akara? I want to load it in Ukara. No, there is some connection. Connection, some logic, which is given by Shastra. Knowing that, chant. And chant means you understand, not just chant. You understand it. But I am not able to even do this also, Swami. Then Omkara has some other purpose also. Yeah. For Upasana. Because Omkara is the name of Ishvara. Forget about silence and this and that, Turiya and everything. Omkara means what? All names and forms. Ishvara's name. Chant. That gives adhikaritva. Gain knowledge. Still not able to appreciate. Take Omkara again and load it. Follow what I'm saying? Versatile. Starting from giving you preparation, I will tell you in the evening the advantages of Omkara Upasana, what it gives. It makes your mind free from restlessness, which is what you require. Upasana's job itself is like this. Ishvara Upasana, always the direct advantage, Pujya Swamiji used to say, is Vikshepa Nivrutti. Karma Yoga, etc., definitely removes Ragadvesha, Mala Nivrutti, and Upasana, well, definitely removes your restlessness. Even Ragadveshas are not there. Your mind generally goes in the direction of what you like, or your mind generally goes in the direction of what you don't like. As you become free, you will see that. But even suppose you have resolved your Ragadveshas are not bothering you, your mind keeps wandering. That wandering lust of the mind will not allow the single-pointedness, focusing in the teaching. Therefore, Mala and Vikshepa are also obstacle other than the ignorance. It's the biggest, it's a main. Ignorance of oneself is a main obstacle. Right? Ajnanam, Malam, Vikshepa. Malam and Vikshepa, in that Vikshepa will take the help of Omkara. But how Omkara is Ishvara? We have already seen and we are going to see. Omkara is one name which covers all names, all forms. That is Ishvara, manifest world. He is the material. This is how one can take help. In a Ishvara Upasana, one can take help as a word to understand Brahman. And then, still you have not understood Atma as Brahman. Well, again, for contemplation, resort to this sound symbol. Now you have done a Shravanam, you know. Yes, Akara means this, the Ukara means this, etc. Makara means this, silence means this, Turiya, etc. And then that contemplation will ultimately make you recognize, I am Brahman. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.